Okay, so we've discussed that the Sufis and the sultans were very important to each other, right? That the state existed not primarily because of, but the state heavily depended on the Sufis, okay, and their sort of support, right? But do you think, now the sultans and the sheikhs are both very high-powered entities, right? Do you think that these two high-powered entities can exist in the same ecosystem? I don't know. We'll find out. Hello everybody, welcome back to Unimonks. My name is Padmanji Chauhan and I'll be teaching you for the CUET history domain. Today we're going to be continuing with our 6th unit of the syllabus, Religious Histories using the Bhakti-Sufi Traditions. Okay, and today we continue with the subtopic Sufis and the state. Now, the Sufi saints accepted unsolicited grants and donations from political elites, right? This was so that they could run their hospices, right? Run their hospices, establish their communities. Now, they set up, using these funds, they set up charitable trusts as sort of endowments for their hospices and were granted tax-free land or inam, okay, again to set up their hospices, alright? The Chishtis accepted donations in cash and kind, and they used it, as I told you previously as well, that they used it immediately, okay? They did not store these donations. They basically accepted them so that they could be used immediately for whatever purpose, okay? Now, people believed in the miraculous powers of the Sufis, right? We've established this as well. These Sufi saints were highly revered for their closeness to God, right? And therefore their miraculous powers were very, very popular among the general masses. Now, these general masses are whose support the kings required, okay? Therefore, the Sufi saints were very, very important to the kings as well, okay? Because indirect connection now, right? Because ordinary people are supportive, are supportive of the Sufi saints, and therefore, if the kings give these Sufi saints support, indirectly, the people, the ordinary masses, their subjects will start giving these kings support as well, right? Okay. Now, when the Turks who established the Delhi Sultanate, they sought out the Sufis, okay? And they did not depend on the ulamas or jurists to interpret the Sharia law. Now, this is because of two main reasons. Number one, because most of their subjects, majority of their subjects were not Islam practitioners, right? We've established this already. And secondly, it was because the Sufis derived their authority directly from God, okay? They were the direct connection to God, right? And again, when we come back to the divine notion of kingship and all that, all of this gets sort of, let's say, it gets even more prominent, or even the kings get better backing basically when they establish or when they relate themselves and when they sort of form connections with these Sufis. Okay. Now, sorry, another point. It was because of this that the kings wanted, because of this closeness to God that the Sufis had, it was because of this that the kings wanted their tombs to be in the vicinity of the shrines and the hospices of these Sufi saints. An example of this could be, if you live in the Delhi region, you've been to the Qutub Minar, right? So, the tombs that are placed there are also dargahs of certain Sufi saints that the dynasty believed in, okay, that the rulers of that dynasty believed in. That is why they've set up their tombs and whatever complex they have near the dargahs or the shrines of those Sufi saints. Okay? Understood? I've given you a physical example also now, okay? Alright. Now, my question that I asked at the beginning of this video, were there instances of conflicts between the sheikhs and between the sheikhs and the sultans? Yes, there has to be, right? Both of them are very, very powerful beings, right? They're very powerful entities. So there has to be a certain point where they do clash with each other. So there were two instances of clashes. Number one was both of them, in order to establish or to sort of assert their authority, they expected certain rituals to be performed by the ordinary people while greeting them. This the ritual I'm talking about is prostration, right? You lie down in front of the ruler, right? This was popular in the Mughal dynasty. You lie down in front of the ruler in sort of submitting yourself to their authority, to their power, right? The sheikhs, the Sufi saints expected the same thing of the people who were coming to their hospices, okay? This was a way of them asserting their authority. Another is that both of these entities, both the sheikhs and the sultans, they took up very high sounding titles. Now you expect this out of sultans, right? They're rulers, okay? They're emperors. They want to be known by some high sounding name. But because the sheikhs, the Sufi saints also did the same thing, there was a little bit of a tussle between them. For example, the sultans used high sounding titles. For example, Nizamuddin Aulia, his disciples, addressed him as Sultan ul Mashayikh, meaning Sultan among sheikhs. Okay, that is a very high sounding title, guys. Okay, this would make anybody jealous, especially the Sultan of the empire. Okay, so that is why this created a little bit of a tussle between the sheikh and the sultan. Alright, now moving on. We have talked about the Alwars and the Nayanas. We've talked about the Veerashaiva tradition, the Veerashaiva movement. We've talked about the Chishtis, okay, when it comes to the Sufi tradition. Now let's talk about the Bhakti saints that we have studied previously, right? I think from 6th standard, CBSE students at least start studying these these Bhakti saints from 6th standard. So we'll start, so this, you can think of it as a sort of revision, okay? A little more information and a sort of revision to the Bhakti saints that you've already studied about. So we'll start with Kabir. Now, Kabir existed in the 14th and 15th centuries, and historians understand his life or his sort of perspectives using compositions that are attributed to him, okay? And using his hagiographies, obviously. Okay, so his verses are compiled in sort of different traditions, okay, in various traditions, very diverse traditions. So, for example, the Kabir Bijak, the Kabir Granthavali, and you can find his verses in the Adi Granth Sahib as well. So now you tell me what these three compilations that I'm talking about, what traditions do they belong to? Okay, tell me in the comments down below. Alright? Okay, that's a little job for you. Now, some of his verses were written in Sant Bhasha, which is ordinary language that the ordinary masses could understand, because that was, right, the ultimate sort of goal of the Bhakti tradition, so that everybody, including women and Shudras, could understand and could connect to God, right? Other verses that he wrote were written in a form called Ulat Bansi, meaning upside down sayings, okay? So this was supposed to sort of represent Kabir's difficulties, the difficulties he's faced while understanding the meaning of the ultimate reality, okay? So he uses sayings like the lotus that blooms without a flower, or fire raging in the ocean. What lotus is blooming without a flower? And fire only rages in the ocean if there is an oil spill and someone throws a matches in there, right? So these are like funny things, right? It is sort of funny, right? The expressions he uses to describe what the ultimate reality meant for him. Apart from this, he draws meaning from various traditions as well to define or to create a meaning of the ultimate reality. So, for example, from Islam, he uses words like Hazrat, Peer, Allah, Khuda to describe the ultimate reality. From Vedic traditions, he uses words like Alak and Nirakar, okay, and Atman to describe the ultimate reality. And from yogic traditions, he uses words like Shabd or Shunya, Shunya meaning emptiness, to describe ultimate reality. So basically what is understood from all this is that everybody, every individual has a different perspective about what their ultimate reality is, okay? That the ultimate reality is not singular, okay? It is not one thing. Everybody has their own interpretation of what the ultimate reality is for them, right? And this is what Kabir is trying to establish through his sayings, okay? Now, Kabir became a source of inspiration for people who were questioning social and religious traditions and practices in search for their ultimate reality, right? Because this is exactly what Kabir did. He not condemned, but let's say condemned the Hindu tradition's polytheism by comparing it with Islam's monotheism, okay, and idol worship as well while comparing it with Islam's iconoclasm. So you know that he's not he's not for or against one particular religion. He dislikes it at a whole, okay? Alright. Now, Kabir's legacy made him important for later generations. That is why we study him till today, okay? We study his sayings, we study his verses till today. Now, if you want to understand more about Kabir's legacy, scan the QR code given on your screen right now, okay? This QR code will take you to our Unimonks app. You download that app, because on that app, we give you organized study material. We give you a live chat with mentors. So you could live chat with me if you have questions about your domain subject of history. You could live chat with Namra ma'am to talk about sociology. You could live chat with Sonal ma'am to talk about chemistry. You could live chat with Ayush sir to talk about biology, right? With Vinayak sir and Manish sir to talk about the general test, okay, logical reasoning, general knowledge, all of that. So download the app, make the best of the resources we have to give you. Not just live chats, we also give you online tests, we give you assignments, basically to prepare you the best we can for CUET 2024, so that you crack CUET 2024 with flying colors, okay? You get into your dream university with as much ease as possible, okay? Now, apart from downloading the app, I highly recommend that you should also follow us on Instagram, on our Facebook page, join our Telegram group, okay, because this is also another way for you to communicate with us, okay? In case you missed the live chat session with us on the app, you can message us on our Telegram group and ask us questions there, where we will try our best to give you answers, okay? And finally, most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel, okay? Okay, moving on. So we're done with Kabir. We've understood Kabir and his very lucid definition and meaning of the ultimate reality. Let's move on to Baba Guru Nanak and the sacred word. Now, Baba Guru Nanak advocated a form of Nirgun Bhakti, okay? For him, the absolute or Rab was without gender and without form, right? Therefore, Nirgun Bhakti, okay? He rejected sacrifices, ritual baths, image worship, and the scriptures of both the Hindu tradition and the Islamic tradition, okay? Average bhakti movement, average bhakti tradition, we see it done by every single one of them, right? Basically rejecting the ideas of the established religion and established social practices, right? In order to make something new, something better, okay? He set up rules for congregational worship, which is called Sangat. he also appointed one of his disciples, Angad, to succeed him as the preceptor or guru, okay? And this practice went on for nearly 200 years, okay? After his death, his followers consolidated their own practices. Other gurus came after him, right? Now, they consolidated all their practices and distinguished themselves from Hindus and Muslims, and therefore, another religion called Sikhism was born out of these, okay? Because after his followers rejected the ideas of the Hindus and the Muslims, okay? Now, Guru Arjan compiled the Adi Granth Sahib, and Guru Gobind Singh compiled the Guru Granth Sahib. Guru Gobind Singh also laid down the foundations of the Khalsa Panth, and he defined 5 sort of elements of the Khalsa Panth. Okay? Kesh, Khanjar, Kacha, Kangha, and Kadha. Okay? Kesh is uncut hair, Khanjar is the dagger, Kacha are the shorts, Kangha is your comb, and Kadha is the kadha, right? The bangle that they're supposed to wear. So these are the elements that are a part of the Khalsa Panth, okay? You've seen them. If you've met any Khalsa ever, you've seen them. These are the practices they follow, okay? Alright. If you want more information, okay, I will give you more information about all of this on our app, okay, through our live classes, a more in-depth sort of, an in-depth explanation of Guru Nanak, his practices, and the practices of his successors on the live classes on the app, okay? So I'm telling you, please download the app, okay? To get the best of the experience, the best of the information that Unimonks has to offer you to prepare you the best for CUET 2024. Okay? That is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Answer all the questions, ask all the doubts you have in the comment box down below. And please don't forget to subscribe to the Unimonks channel. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.